thank you all for being here today and attending my informative presentation. Health and wellness are becoming ever-increasing concerns here in America. With obesity rates and chronic disease levels at all-time highs, Americans are now seeking newer and more inventive ways to maintain healthy diets. I'm nutritionist John Steinert, and I'm here to educate and inform you on how diets high in the consumption of whole grains can bring many great benefits to one's health. Many of us have recently begun to hear about the term whole grain. Companies such as General Mills and ConAgra Foods have begun advertising products such as cereals, popcorn, and even Chef Boyardee as products that now contain whole grain. But the main questions I'm trying to answer for you today are, what are whole grains and what are their benefits? Well, the Whole Grains Council defines a whole grain as one that contains all of the essential parts and naturally occurring nutrients of the entire grain seed. This means that all three parts, the bran, the germ, and the endosperm, must all be present to qualify. And to illustrate this for you, I have a little example. I so happen to have this NBA koozie laying around the house. And so this will be my example of a whole grain today. The blue part in the outer covering is filled with protein and fiber, and it represents the bran. And on the inside, we have the germ that is full of antioxidants and vitamins, as well as the endosperm, which is the starchy component. On the other hand of whole grains, we have refined grains and refined carbohydrates. And these differ significantly in nutritional value, as well as how the body can process the refined product. In a refined grain, the germ, which is full of antioxidants and vitamins, is stripped. Additionally, the bran, which is full of protein and fiber, is also stripped, leaving just the starchy white component that you see in breads. Now, when a refined grain is consumed, it is digested by the body at a much quicker rate than that of a complex carb, which is what a whole grain is. When complex carbs are consumed and digested, it takes longer for the body to complete the process. This gives one lasting energy and leaves one feeling fuller for a longer period of time. Additionally, whole grains and complex carb enter the body at much slower rates, only giving minor rises in insulin levels. Whereas when you consume a refined grain, it sparks extreme surges in blood sugar, causing insulin levels to be at a high rate within the body. Now, these high insulin levels can eventually lead to a condition known as insulin resistance, or IR. Insulin resistance is when the body's cells begin to become resistant to the insulin produced. Thus, they require greater amounts to have the same digestive effect. Well, now that you've learned a little bit about what is a whole grain, let me distinguish for you how you can find one. Whole grains are becoming more widely available each and every day. You can find them at any and every supermarket. According to the Mintel Global New Product Database, there are more than 20 times as many new products introduced in 2010 that contained whole grains versus in the year 2000. Additionally, in a poll of the American consumer perceived whole grains as the healthiest food option, ahead of such things as broccoli, bananas, and even green tea. It is important to know what you're looking for when searching for a whole grain. Many people purchase wheat breads and multigrain breads and think they're getting the whole grain product. However, this is not the case. Whole grains can be consumed in the form of oats, barley, whole wheat pastas, and whole wheat breads, as well as popcorn are all great sources. It is key when looking for a product that contains whole grain to look on the ingredient label and look for key trigger words such as whole grain, whole wheat, stone ground wheat, brown rice, and even oats. Now, refined grains have been a part of our diet for many, many decades. Many of us grew up eating Wonder White bread. And so it comes to no surprise that recent research is coming forward each and every year supporting diets in whole grain. In fact, 3 servings of whole grains per day can optimize benefit and can maximize your potential to lead a healthy diet. Now, but even 1 serving can add great benefit. There are 25.8 million people living in the United States with diabetes, and 90 to 95% of them have type 2 diabetes, which is a chronic disease and is preventable. There were nearly 2 million new cases reported in 2010, and the number is only expected to rise, with nearly 80 million people currently in a pre-diabetes state, both adults and children, based on their lifestyles and dietary habits. In fact, in 2007, Americans spent $174 billion on diabetes-related medical expenses. But more importantly, a person with diabetes will have average medical expenditures that are 2.4 times greater than that of someone without the disease. And of course, diabetes has been shown to increase your chances for stroke, heart disease, and high blood pressure. In fact, the most documented studies of whole grain consumption have shown that diets consisting of whole grains can lower one's risk for developing type 2 diabetes by up to 30%, can lower your stroke risk by 36%, and can reduce your risk of heart disease by 28%, all while helping an individual maintain better weight. Whole wheat diets are by no means a trend diet. It's here to stay. It's not the Atkins, and it's not Weight Watchers. And studies are coming forward each and every year that support whole grain diets. And a whole grain diet and increasing your whole grain consumption is one way to help yourself have a better diet. Thank you very much.